and be throwing you in the deep end. You're going to surf the biggest wave setting and you're going to surf the barrel setting.
I quite enjoy being able to give people some tools to be able to support them when emotions strike high.
By having Drew rigged up with a camera so you can actually see the line that he's taking, as opposed to rigging up a camera with Matty.
People are saying, how are you going to fit inside that barrel? I'm 6'6". You can still adjust, even when you're crunched right up, you can still make some adjustments to your line and thread that right line through the barrel. He's trying to lay down over the falls, laying down. He'd make the drop and then he'd stall and then he'd over the falls.
For me, it was super important to just sit on the board, just get back to the breathing technique sitting there rather than trying to do it while I was paddling or surfing. I started surfing 18 months ago. Started surfing at Urban Surf and fell in love.
Matt had only learnt to surf in a wave pool, which is very unique for a surfer. And at the pool, he always surfs the same setting, so he's inside of his comfort zone doing the intermediate session.
As a beginner, I've surfed every setting there now, from beginner to beginner progressive, roller, cruiser, progressive turns, intermediate. That's where I thought I was sitting.
So I was like, right, Matty, I'm coming down for your birthday and be throwing you in the deep end. You're going to surf the biggest wave setting and you're going to surf the barrel setting.
It's like, I'll come down, we'll surf for your birthday. Oh, by the way, I'm going to put a camera on your head, I'm going to put a camera on your board.
By having Drew rigged up with a camera so you can actually see the line that he's taking, but then also see what his body's doing and noticing how little they move. As opposed to rigging up a camera with Matty and seeing the excessive movements and all the nervous twitches and all that kind of stuff. I thought that would be really interesting for viewers to see that you actually need to do less. And then the less you do, the more you feel, the easier it is to ride your barrel.
The cameras added a lot of pressure to me initially. There was one on my head which was kind of like this extra weight that I wasn't used to, and then there was one on the board looking back at me, there was some on the wall, people filming. But once I learned not to look at them and not to think about it, and I just focused on the wave, tried to resonate with the wave, listened to all of the advice, eventually the cameras disappeared.
The thought of barrel riding or the thought of doing something that's unknown creates a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, and you start getting inside your head. So I thought, well, who better than Matt Barber, who does breath enhancement training, performing under pressure, and he understands how to get someone out of their head and to activate their senses so that they can start to feel and navigate their way through a wave.
Our thoughts become our feelings and then our feelings become our behaviours. So I quite enjoy being able to give people some tools to be able to support them when emotions strike high. They happen at 1/12,000th of a second and you can't control it. We also have some other factors that come into play when you get stressed that you can control. So it's about looking at ways in which we can reduce someone's stress.
Matty really helped me with breathing techniques, with ways to calm down the nervous system when we're out there.
By controlling our breath, then we can control our energy. So I was utilising some software that can support Matt by giving him a visual representation of how his breathing can support him in times of stress. When we get stressed, our heart rate elevates and then our breathing changes. So the breathing and the heart rate, we can modify that. We can't control an emotion. So what we're using is the breath to control his heart's rhythm, to control his emotions.
On the advanced setting, he was having the time of his life.
He told me he's only been surfing for a year and a half and he'd never even surfed the advanced turns. So it's just incredible to see him taking off on the advanced turns, throwing his arms up, he's coming off the bottom, completing the wave, completed lots of waves.
And I just kept nailing the takeoffs of all the waves. I just didn't look down, I had my chin up, I was proud to be a part of this gang. I felt like I was surfing with great surfers above my level. I felt like I was part of it and I belonged there. And that just lifted me up and I just felt lighter and I just had fun. I had pure joy. It was sick.
He absolutely blitzed the first one, and then the second session was half turns and half barrels. It's mechanical in that when you take off, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 4th second, the bottom will drop out a little bit and the top will start throwing, and it's game on barrel time.
Compared to the ocean, it's super fun because There's no question, like there's going to be a barrel. You pay your money, you go and you get your barrel, and it's guaranteed. People are saying, how are you going to fit inside that barrel? I'm 6'6", 100 kilos. And then also, once you get small enough, how am I actually going to thread my way through it without much movement? The footage is pretty funny. I'm just like locked up like a little ball. As long as you can find the right line, and you can still adjust. Even when you're crunched right up, you can still make some adjustments to your line and thread that right line through the barrel.
The problem is when people start doing too much. They're like, oh, barrel, and they're freaking out, and they bring all this tension and extra baggage to the barrel setting, where literally you have to just stand there and just push a shopping cart through the barrel and you're good.
I was pretty fatigued by that point. We'd done an hour of advanced turns, and then the barrel setting starts with half an hour of the difficult wave from advanced turns. So we'd surf for an hour, we'd gone back onto land, and then I think the apprehension started. During that hour out of the water, I think I got into my head a bit, and I can see in those takeoffs, one, a little bit of fatigue, but also my eye line, I'm starting to look down and I'm not focusing clearly. In those early takeoffs, I'm just sort of a little bit wild-eyed. And
he was definitely like a deer in the headlights. You'd see him trying to calm himself down, and he'd be singing and everything. And
I sang songs.
Just remember, brothers and sisters.
I made wolf noises, trumpet noises.
And then you'd hear the noise of the wave, like, and he'd be like this, and turning around looking for the wave, and then he'd be.
But then the thought of the barrels coming, it's crazy how powerful the mind is. And unfortunately, the fear of the unknown made him weigh up the risks, and he just defaulted to what he thought was the safest thing in the moment. But that default mode actually put him more at risk, and he wiped out more, and he took a beating more.
I wasn't looking down the line, and I was only thinking about, 10 seconds from now, oh God, this barrel thing, and I wasn't in the moment. I was just, freaking out. And I looked down there, smash, pooh, ah.
Basically, he forgot how to pop up, he forgot how to stand up, he was kneeling on some takeoffs. He even lay down on one wave.
He's trying to lay down over the falls, laying down. He's like, what, make it, he'd make the drop, and then he'd stall, and then he'd over the falls.
And it just escalated. I got so rinsed. You just get spun around heaps, and then a lot of water moves in that pool, so you kind of get pushed against the wall a bit. You go under, you think it's really bad, you get up and go, that was pretty fun actually.
And then that got the adrenaline going, it got him antsy, it ruined his breathing, it ruined his ability to think clearly.
Anyone who's in his position is going to really lock up, go through all of these processes that he's going through.
5 minutes earlier, he was taking off on bigger, gnarlier, bigger waves.
For me, it was super important to just sit on the board, just get back to the breathing technique sitting there rather than trying to do it while I was paddling or surfing. Just reset my brain. I'm like, I don't want to get this wave, give me a set off. I need to reset myself. And then that's how I eventually started to get myself in a better headspace.
But he completed a ride, and the one that he made, he managed to get himself out of that stunned deer in the headlights. He broke free of it, and he made the drop.
I think I took a lot of expectation off myself. I think we even had a laugh just before I took off. But I looked down the line, I tried to sit in the right spot, I didn't overcomplicate it.
Picked the line, made it, and you can see him at the end of the wave. He's just like super stoked.
Whether I totally got the barrel or not is probably up for discussion, but I got through, and I do like this 1 second claim, like, whoo, and then jump in the water. I think because I'd had a moment to reset, everything just felt a bit slower again. So I just, even if it's a 15-second reset, just to get my breathing back before a wave comes, that's all I really needed. So I think I was just feeling a little slower, a little calmer, a little more able to focus.
Every time he attacks that barrel section from here on out, he's going to be just a little bit more relaxed. He's going to have watched his footage. He can frame by frame look at the way he was taking off and see what he's doing wrong, see where he's looking in the wrong spot. He can even look at the good wave that he did and what he could have done after he made that drop to possibly slow down and get a little bit deeper in the barrels.
It felt awesome. I mean, I felt like I'd at least unlocked something for the next time I try it. Like I'm getting, all of the fear of it is gone and I'm excited to actually get deeper in the barrel.
If you think you're wrong, you're right. And if you think you're right, you're right. So what I mean by that, if you think it's too steep, you'll probably nosedive. And if you think it's makeable, you'll make it. So the power of the mind, and used positively for you, your intuition and your energy follows where you look. So the more you can calm down and relax, the more makeable those waves are going to be.
And yeah, 100%, I'm going back into those advanced settings and I'm going to get that barrel. Got so much more to learn, but I would encourage everyone to just be open to that and to grow and experience new stuff and to push yourself, because why would you not? Like, life is sick, woo!